Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So today we're going to discuss what your old Intel Mac is worth. Even a brand new one or one that's kind of newish, right? So we're going to take a look at Marketplace to start with, and we're going to see what they have. And if their prices are ludicrous or pretty much where about they should be kind of thing. And we'll go from there. So let's cut to the screenshot now. Okay, guys, so we're going to check out a couple of laptops, maybe a couple of iMacs and whatnot on Marketplace and see if these prices are actually realistic. So, first up is a MacBook 13-inch for $2,500. MacBook Pro. Selling it like brand new, just over a year old, newly installed motherboard, never used. No scratches, comes with original box and charger. Reason for selling, I bought a new one. So, if they're running shy from this thing because it blew up and it had to get the motherboard replaced, do you not think it might be a good idea to completely avoid this one? Perhaps this may happen again. Maybe it's bad run of motherboards that came out. I mean, it's happened before to the best of them. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a Mac or PC. We've seen this sort of thing. So this particular Mac Pro, I would probably say stay away from, but $2,500, they want basically what they paid for it probably, or darn close to it, or the same price minus the taxes. And yeah, ain't worth it. But I would suggest running from this as far away as you can, just because it's already had one motherboard explode and it needed a new one. That really concerns me. So you could consider this video of things to avoid too. So we have a $400 13-inch 2015 MacBook Air. It has been well taken care of, and I'm only selling because I've ordered a newer version. Obviously they went M1 because they're tired of slow times. This is an Intel machine, obviously. Okay. Selling it with the charger. Battery life is functioning normally. Had it tested at a computer store a few months ago. Screen is a tad bit loose. I'm surprised the store didn't tighten the screen. That's something that I would have done by just, telling the person, look, your screen's a little bit on the loose side, so if you're thinking of selling this, maybe we should tighten this thing up. Because I wouldn't charge them a whole lot of money for it, as long as it's something minor, you know. So even the dealer wouldn't charge that much, or shouldn't, you would think anyway. However, what we got under the hood here is a 1.6 gigahertz iCore 5, early 2015, 8 gigs of RAM. So it's kind of hard to say what size the hard drive is. They actually don't even have that listed here as a picture anywhere to tell us. You can tell that power supply, though, was well loved. That's dirty. Ugh. Anyways, well, it is 2015. It's old, right? So anyway, they're asking $400. Now, at a regular Apple dealer, it's probably going to be at least an hour of their time, and hopefully they don't need any parts. It's just a matter of tightening up the hinges, type of thing. Maybe that's all it is. Who knows, though? You don't really know, but it shouldn't be too bad. But you may end up investing a couple of $100 to get this work done, especially if the hinges worn right out, okay? Which can happen. It's a laptop. You're always opening and closing the lid all the time. So, but we don't know the definition of loose here, so that's kind of a hard one to say too. So I would say that in consideration of this, I would probably think that this thing shouldn't be, I wouldn't pay myself with a loose screen, even though the rest of it seems to be perfect. I wouldn't pay more, actually, than probably $200, considering we don't know the whole details on the screen. Okay, so anyways, there we go. Now that's regardless of the year. Some of these are going to be worth close to 400, and I would agree. So let's take a look at this one. Another 2015 model, needs to be updated to a newer OS. They actually ended up putting, I believe, Catalina back. Yes, 4 gigs of RAM, 1.6 gigahertz, which means it's got 4 gigs of RAM. It's probably got a 120 gig hard drive in it. Now, a lot of these older MacBooks, by the way, now with all MacBook Airs, you've never been able to upgrade RAM, but you were able to upgrade hard drives at least. until the cutoff time for that, and then of course everything's soldered on ever since. But a 2015, you should not have any problem upgrading the hard drive. I'm going to say should because I don't have the list in front of me, but we can always take a look at this really quickly and just say, okay, so 2015 MacBook Air SSD Upgrade. Huge selection on Amazon. This is one of the kits you can get, and it covers the 2013 it covers MacBook Air mid 2013 to 2017. So yeah, you can definitely upgrade the hard drive if it's a 120. But 425, it's in great shape apparently. You know, so no loose screen reported. Does not appear to have any damage to the computer itself. Everything looks good. I would be a little concerned in this area of the power supply. We don't know if that's dirt or if it's actually puncturing through the casing of the wires, but a brand new power supply, Apple version, is about $100. Okay, so you know, you may be looking at a future power supply or maybe sooner, who knows, hard to say. Now, the 2015s, of course, will also run the new OS coming out from Apple, which is kind of nice. But be aware, though, every Intel processor currently in Apple's lineup is being completely cut off 100% in under 2 years. Kind of like what Microsoft's doing for anybody who can't run Windows 11. They're actually cutting off all the Windows 10 people in 2 years. So both companies are kind of going, you have 2 years to get your stuff together and get a new computer, basically. That's what they're telling us all, right? So it's not just Apple, it's Microsoft doing the same thing too. So where would we put this one? Well, I would probably say that, you know, it's an early 2015. It's a little newer than actually my 2013. And it's about 300 gigahertz per core quicker. Same amount of RAM though, same video. Now I paid $320 for mine from a pawn shop with a 30-day warranty, and I kind of still overpaid regardless because even the 2013s on Marketplace are averaging from $200 to upwards to $300. So it's kind of a tough one on that when it comes to that model year. But the 2015, it's definitely going to run the new OS, but you still have that 2-year deadline. I would probably put this one because it's a couple of years newer and it runs the new OS. And 4 gig will run Monterey, okay. It seems to be running Big Sur just fine on mine. But I'd probably say, I don't know, rough area, 250 to 300. I would put it in that ballpark, okay. That I think is pretty reasonable, okay. Then we have a 2019 Air. Now this is an interesting ad. Works fine, haven't had any problems with it just because I'm no longer in school and don't have much use for it anymore. Comes with original case charger. Screen is damaged. Can be repaired by Apple or a computer repair company. It actually needs a new screen. Down in this area, I believe they showed a blow up. Yeah, right here. This is damaged. Now this is a strip actually. It's kind of like a plastic strip that covers over top the bottom edge of the screen there. And that's actually fracturing and it's through the screen on the other side. So it may not be affecting the picture, but that is an affected area. Somebody's definitely had to have jammed something under this thing at one time, went, oh crumb, you know, and lifted it back up, and of course they caused the damage. Corner damage near a hinge could be similar type of incident, or just it's breaking through because they opened the laptop way too wide. But this is right in the middle too, where there's electrical components down in here that you want to be a little bit concerned about. So we're talking a whole new screen. So $500, even though it's a 2019, and they've dropped the price quite a bit, which is amazing for a 2019 because it should technically be worth more. It's still $500. We're going to have to probably consider a screen is going to be happening in the near future. That's going to be a very expensive proposition. So for me, this would actually be more of something that invest as little as possible, because once that screen goes, you might as well just buy a new laptop. You know, unless you can do it yourself or find a good used screen that's in perfect condition. But otherwise, I would probably say I wouldn't pay more than 100, 150 tops because of the damage, not because of the year. And we still, you know, like we don't know much more of the details. Like it should be realistically an 8 by 256, but it's hard to tell. Apple did some systems in the same model year when they became newer systems, of course, where it went 4 by 120 to 8 by 120. Then they did another changeover, 4 to 256, 8 to 256. So it's kind of one of those things where we don't know any other details, and you know, without asking. So this one here, this is one to run from. Now this is local to me. I tried to actually get it for 50 bucks, and they told me basically take a hike. But 2013 MacBook Pro, 15-inch, missing a few unimportant keys. I'm sorry, but they are all important. Works great. Don't use it enough. 500 bucks. Now here's another problem. They failed to report the broken trackpad. Okay, now when a trackpad starts doing this, trackpads have electrical connections, as you know, right? And this is something where it could definitely cause a short circuit down the road if you're going to use it in this condition. A new trackpad, by the way, if you're going to go for a quality one, I found a good quality one for about $140 US, you know, on Google searching. So by the time you got that even into Canada, you know, with the import fees and everything, you're up well over $200 just for a trackpad. And the keyboard that would be a quality keyboard proper for this machine, and these are also backlit as well. So, you know, chick-ching, they go up a little more in price. So we're talking 250 bucks US roughly, plus import fees and shipping. So change that over to Canadian dollars. You're going to spend between $500 to $600 Canadian just on parts, and then do it yourself. It's going to take you quite a while actually to change that over by yourselfie, and you got to be very careful. Or you can pay an Apple dealer a couple of $100 to change the parts for you. So is this Pro actually worth 500? No, it's worth 50 bucks. You know, regardless, you know, I mean, it is a 2013, which is fine, but it has that drawback, okay, where we have some broken keys. Replacing keycaps may be possible if they didn't break the link locks, but first you got to find some keys, okay? But the trackpad definitely has to be replaced. That's bad. And I would question if they broke these keys, is it the kids that got at it with a screwdriver or something and popped them off, or are they person that's a very hard typer and broke them? And F keys are rarely used except in, you know, if you're changing volume up and down, screen brightness, that sort of stuff. So question me the kind of abuse this thing's gone through, but I wouldn't pay more than 50 for this, and that's being realistic. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, here's a newer iMac. Now I offered these people was it $600 I offered for this. Now it is a 2019. It's a 6-core, 3 gigahertz, 21.5-inch 4K. Now nice computer and all, you know, and looks like it's in beautiful condition, which is fine. It's definitely going to run the new OS that's out there. It's got 8 gigs of RAM in it. Yada yada yada. Okay, only used for less than a year and moved to PC. Okay, why would they buy a Mac and then move to PC? I don't know. I don't really care. But they're trying to get all their money back and then some. Okay, I mean, I can get a refurbished unit for like half the price. So as a used unit, I'm thinking 600 would be a fair price. And I got to take into consideration that 2-year cutoff, and I won't be able to go on the internet anymore. I mean, you have to make your investments as low as possible when you're buying used Macs right now. First of all, you need to make sure that what you're buying, if you have intentions to be on the internet with it, then you have to buy something with a minimum of Catalina, a legitimate Catalina, not a DDoS one or whatever they call it, or a clovered versioned OS. So basically running an unsupported operating system on a Mac, we call that a Hackintosh. Same as we do when we put them into a PC. It's a Macintosh computer at this point. There's absolutely no security. Even if you get security updates for that OS from the place you got your stuff from, I wouldn't trust them anyways as far as you can throw them. Also, you don't know if these places you're scooping these modified OSs and programs off of to update beyond what your computer can handle. I wouldn't trust them. They could have Trojans in them that are stealing your information, and eventually one of these days, when they feel cool enough about it, they could rip out your bank accounts, drain them, kill off your credit cards, take away your identity. I mean, you got to be really careful. I mean, the internet's safe for the most part, but a lot of stuff ain't so safe. But anyways, there you have it. So we'll talk about PCs in another video, but I think we're pretty much out of Macs here, aren't we? It's looking like it. Now there's also a 27-inch iMac 5K, late 2015 for sale up here as well somewhere. But let's just do a quick search. Got to learn how to spell iMac. Here's one, $800, mid 2015. Mine's a late version, 2015. 5K screen, like new, 1 terabyte drive. Now that's a stock hard drive, stock RAM, so it's a mechanical hard drive. Boot process is slow on Big Sur with a mechanical drive. Even Catalina is not the fastest. Mechanical drives are slow. But you can upgrade the RAM, you can upgrade the hard drive. You just got to be patient when you take the screen off or you'll crack it. Anyways, comes with a wireless keyboard, mouse. Price is final and firm. Won't find a better price 5K out there. Well, you can on eBay, that's for sure, even on the same condition. You can definitely find them a lot better priced. $800 though? No. Again, we have the 2-year time limit, which is a big problem with being an Intel Mac. Although it's a beautiful computer, I love mine. The screen quality is just phenomenal. 5K, oh, so nice, and it's Retina display too. But $800, I paid $1,000 for mine this past year. I still overpaid, but I didn't have that many options, and I figured, you know what, this is going to do me for an easy few years. Now that's of course way before we found out what Apple pulled off with this whole 2-year deadline now. So I thought, you know what, for $1,000, it certainly beats that MacBook Air 2020 that I bought. Brand spanking new. Yeah, that thing was an eyesore a little bit. And this will definitely do everything I need to do and then some. And I'll be okay for Big Sur, and I should be okay for the next new OS because it's new enough. And sure enough, it is good for Monterey. But the problem is that 2-year cutoff window we're under now. This is why we need to pay as less as possible. And it is affecting Mac prices. There are people who are realizing that, hey, I need to ditch this now because in 2 years, this thing won't be safe for the internet. It'll be functional for many other things, yes. I mean, Mac never dies, you know what I mean? Like, you can always use this Mac computer for many other things without going on the internet. But if you need to be on the internet, you need to pay as less as possible to give yourself time to find something on the used market in an M1 in 2 years. Because in 2 years, the first version M1s are going to be going up for sale. And I actually found one recently at a pawn shop. It was actually a Macbook Air M1 for $1,000. Now that's $300 in taxes, less of full retail. And I mean, I didn't have $1,000, but either way, I mean, $1,000 is not bad even at a pawn shop, for an M1 Air. Because they are $1,300 brand new Canadian dollars. So it's like, well, that'll go down to about $600 or $800 with the new release of the new lineup of laptops, the new chips. So, where are we sitting here? Realistically, anywhere between, I would say, $400 to $550 would be reasonable for a 27-inch 5K. It does hold a little bit more value than our 21.5, but it is a 27 and it is 5K. So these are just some examples. You know, and if it is a newer Mac too, that's a 27-inch 5K or 21.5-inch 4K, you know, you got to kind of just use your best discretion. And I mean, buying RAM for them is very inexpensive on Amazon. I've got 24 gigs of RAM in mine, and it's working great. And an SSD is definitely a mandatory upgrade on any Mac, because if it doesn't already have an SSD, it needs one. Because it's all about performance, right? I'd rather have my computer boot in 4.8 seconds as opposed to about 2 minutes. I'd rather have programs launch extremely fast and run fast and smooth than to have that mechanical slow hard drive that is wearing out as we speak. You know what I mean? So anyway, there are some other iMacs up here, 2019 6-core machines that are just ludicrously priced. You know, and you got to use your discretion and keep in mind of that 2-year cutoff that it's going to be bricking on the internet. It will not be safe to go on the internet. There's nothing you can do about it because, you know, Apple is not going to support OSs beyond. Now, one other thing I want to throw into this video is what Mac computers will support the new OS. And Apple makes it simple, unlike Windows world. You got to go through all kinds of hoops. So on Google here, an early 2016 or later MacBook, okay, not MacBook Pro, okay, MacBook. So early 2016 or later, no problems. MacBook Air, early 2015 or later. MacBook Pro, early 2015 or later. Mac Pro, so now we're talking, you know, the Mac Pro systems, late 2013 or later. That really sucks because I had an iMac 2013 and it wouldn't go to Big Sur, and yet the Mac Pro late 2013 will. That kind of really sucks. Mac Mini, late 2014 or later. iMac, late 2015 or later. So a mid iMac 2015, not going to happen. Has to be a late. And mine's a late 2015, so we're all good. iMac Pro, okay, so the Pro version iMac, must be a 2017 and later. You know, kind of weird, eh? The iMac Pro is a much more powerful iMac than the regular iMac, yet the regular iMac starts at a late 2015, where the iMac Pro has to be a 2017 and later. And that's the final list. Apple made it simple, and that's in order to run Monterey. So as far as Big Sur goes, we want to take a quick look, and then we're out of here. Because there's a lot of people, you know, I mean, I've got a computer here running Catalina. It won't go to Big Sur. But then I also have, you know, my Mac, my iMac, it runs Big Sur currently. And so does my my MacBook Air. Now, my Air won't go to the newest OS, but my iMac does. So for Big Sur, this is what we get. Very short list. MacBook 2015 or later. MacBook Air 2013 and later, which I qualify. MacBook Pro late 2013 model and later. So you notice under the Air, it doesn't matter if it's an early, late, or middle, right? As long as it's a MacBook Air of 2013 or later. Mac Mini 2014 or later. iMac 2014 or later. That's where I missed the bus on my late 2013 iMac. You know, it's like just a couple months shy. iMac Pro 2017 and later. Interesting. And a Mac Pro 2013 and later. Okay, that's for your Big Sur operating system. So you know where you stand. And Big Sur is current right now. And Monterey will also be the newest current. Now, as far as Catalina systems go, any computer you have for a Mac that's running Catalina natively, okay, Catalina is only going to be good apparently until summer of, like early or midsummer of 2022, and then Catalina goes bye-byes. So if you are looking at a computer, make sure that not only can it run Catalina, but that it can run Big Sur if you want that 2-year time window. But otherwise, make sure it can legitimately run Catalina. And this is something you got to be very sneaky about when you're looking at model years of Macs. Before you jump the gun and go and buy something, do a search, get the model year off the person and cross your fingers. But while you're at it, get the A number on the back cover, because you can get deceived. Like, I bought my 2009 MacBook Pro with the understanding it was actually a 2011, so it could run High Sierra, right? And now the people who they bought it, right, the person that they bought it from, had put Catalina on it. This thing doesn't support Catalina, but he put it on there with DOS Dude or some other Clover program, so he turned it into a Hackintosh, basically. It's an unsupported OS. And this thing stopped at El Capitan for the 2009. So it's kind of like, you know, you got El Capitan, then you have Sierra, then you have High Sierra, then you have Mojave, then you get Catalina. So it was 5 levels up from its last supported operating system, and it's like, wow, you know, and these people got completely screwed on the price. They paid way too much, and they couldn't even reload Catalina. You guys have heard this story a little bit before. The end result was I ended up paying them $50 for it and taking a chance. So when I reloaded, I find out with a legitimate OS, it's actually an 09, not an 11. So it's kind of like, wow, glad I only paid $50. Machine's in great shape, and it does have a purpose in life. It's going to be my new GarageBand machine. But either way, I mean, it's not safe to go on the internet, and they've been surfing unsafe with Catalina. Now, though Catalina, yes, is a supported OS for security right now, it's not supported when it's been hacked into a Mac that doesn't support Catalina. This is what you need to understand. These unsupported OSs going into Macs are not helping you stretch out the lifespan of your Mac. It's just giving you the ability to go, hey, look what I can do. When really, it's more like, wait and see what the hacker world's going to do to you eventually. Okay? Possibly. There's high probability in this day and age. So, anyway, that's what we got. That's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed the video, got a lot out of it. Do be careful buying used Macs. Don't pay for them for very much money. You know, and this is one thing that you're going to run into. A lot of people still don't understand about this whole thing with what's going on with Apple and the whole 2-year cutoff, which we're actually under 2 years right now. And then all the Intel-based Macs are completely 100% cut off, and then that's going to include your security updates and everything. So, you know, just be aware of that. But, you know, in the PC world, well, they're in a very similar boat, so it's a lose-lose on both sides with computers at this point. Anyways, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll be sure to catch you on the next one. See ya.